God created the world, but the Dutch created the Netherlands. Today I am exploring the biggest man-made island in the entire world, the Flevopolder. This place is located in the province of Flevoland in the Netherlands. I'm going on a road trip here and let me show you this beautiful and interesting region. I'll start my journey in the city of Almere. I'm walking here in the harbour of the biggest city on the island, which is called the city of Almere. This place has over 200,000 inhabitants nowadays, but it all started here behind me. The neighbourhood around the harbour was the first place to be constructed, and the first houses were completed around 1976, so it makes it a really special place. The old harbour of Almere is a beautiful place. But from here I will drive to the city centre, which is famous for its modern architecture. And then I drive a bit up north to National Park the Oostvaardersplassen, which is actually really close by this city. And it's also one of the most interesting national parks here in all of the Netherlands. After that, I would love to visit the capital of the province, of course, which is Lelystad. And there they have something really special. It's an old 17th century Dutch ship. I can't wait to show you that. After that, I will drive to the northern part of the province, where they have two more interesting sites. One of them is the former island Schokland. And then I drive further to the last destination, which is Urk. It's also a former island and it's a very, very beautiful city. As Almere is such a new city, it's mostly famous for its modern architecture. You love it or you hate it. Let me show you this interesting place. Although Lelystad is the capital of Flevoland, Almere is by far the largest city. This is due to the proximity of Amsterdam. Many Amsterdammers who are looking for more space and affordable housing are moving to Almere. The center is always under development, and every year beautiful projects are built. Because the city was built on the former seabed, it is no less than 5 meters below sea level. I wonder what it would be like to live here. Coincidentally, during my visit, I met one of the first inhabitants of this city, and I asked this question.
Ik begreep dat u een van de eerste 500 inwoners bent hier van de stad.
Van de stad, ja. Almere haven zijn we begonnen. Ja. En ongeveer 35 jaar geleden zijn we verhuisd naar Almere stad.
Het moet heel bijzonder zijn om hier in de stad te wonen en ook in de provincie Flevoland. Hoe is het om in deze omgeving te wonen, onder zeeniveau?
Ja, onder zeeniveau maakt mij niet zoveel uit, maar ja, het is heel veel ruimte hebben we hier natuurlijk. We hebben schitterende fietspaden. En haven is wat kleinschaliger dan natuurlijk stad. Maar ik moet zeggen, mijn kinderen wonen ook nu vlak bij ons in de buurt. Dus daarom hebben we eigenlijk gekozen om altijd in Almere te blijven. Omdat ik hier toch meer kans heb op een woning dan in Amsterdam.
Als je me 1 tip mag geven over waar ik nog naartoe zou moeten gaan, wat zou het dan zijn?
Als ik je zou aanraden, zou ik hier gebruik maken van onze vreselijk mooie fietsgelegenheden. Je hebt bos, je hebt parken, je hebt... natuur is hier geweldig mooi.
The nature in Flevoland is fantastic indeed. And that's why my next stop is my favorite piece of nature in the province. So I just parked my car and I arrived here at the entrance of the Oostvaardersplassen. And what makes this region so special actually? Well, it's one of the most interesting national parks in all of the Netherlands probably. Not even many Dutch know about it, I guess. I think it's worth it for locals to visit this place as well. And that is because there is so much wildlife in this region. You will see plenty of birds, including spoonbills, sea eagles and kingfishers. There's deer to be spotted. And there are, what is really special here, a lot of wild horses. So let's check it out. As in most Dutch national parks, there are many bike paths in this park. Don't forget your binoculars, because there is really a lot of wildlife to spot here. Internationally, this area is so important that it is included in the Natura 2000, the European Nature Network. Because of the wide views in this park and the many animals that live here, the Oostvaardersplassen are one of my favorite nature reserves in the Netherlands.
But this is beautiful. What a view. I mean, it's totally flat, of course. It's the Netherlands, not for no reason. But over there, you see lots of wildlife. It's crazy. I should zoom that in for you.
There are so many wild horses over there. This is really a unique sight. I did get to see a sea eagle, but I was too slow to catch it on camera. My next stop is the capital of the province, Lelystad. I parked the car at the VOC parking garage named after the Dutch East India Company. So Lelystad, what kind of city is it? Lelystad is named after the architect of the reclamation of the Zuiderzee, Cornelis Lely. As the first residents arrived in 1967, the city has a modern look. Well, there's no accounting for taste, but outside the city center, in the harbor, you find something really special. So why should you visit Lelystad?
The reason why I came to Lelystad is the ship that you can see behind me. This is the Batavia. It's one of the most famous Dutch ships because it's a beautiful replica of a 17th century ship that was built in the Dutch Golden Age. It was called the Dutch Golden Age, the 17th century, because the Netherlands became very rich by trading spices from places like Africa and Asia. They created a lot of colonies over there, and one of those colonies was Indonesia. The Batavia was built in 1628 in Texel, but unfortunately on its first journey to the island of Java in Indonesia, it crashed.
The ship had gone off course and was not near Java, but off the coast of Australia when it ran aground on a coral reef. But now we have this beautiful replica which you can visit.
It's around 48 meters long, I think, and it could carry 1,200 tons of freight, which was quite a lot for the time. Robin, nice to meet you.
Fred van der Swan.
Yeah.
I'm just the guide here of the ship, and I hope you will have a nice view of the ship over here. So just come and visit yourself. What is the history of this ship over here?
Let us show the beautiful interior of this ship.
How many people would actually sail on this ship?
We had 200 soldiers below and 150 sailors, and just about 10 to 16 officers.
I stroll over the decks and marvel at the craftsmanship of the wooden colossus and the stories of the guide. Have a look here, what a beautiful deck full of cannons. It's all done so beautifully. It's like stepping into a time machine, and I really feel like I'm in the 17th century. At that time, the ship was a bit more difficult to steer than it is nowadays, because the steering wheel had not yet been invented.
This ship has no steering wheel because we found it in 1750. This is just a stick where we managing the ship. From this side to this side, we have control over the roar of the ship.
Some of the decorations on the ship would now be seen as racist.
My ancestors were commanding this kind of ships, and they had another philosophy as I have.
Yeah,
but I'm not responsible for their philosophy.
Yeah, your ancestors commanded these ships?
Yes.
How many generations back is that?
West India, in 1600 to 1641.
It's amazing. And how do you know actually?
Because I'm an historian, and I'm still wearing the seal.
A seal is actually from
mark
the
of my family.
It's a mark of your family. Is it from the 17th century then?
No, this is from the 18th century. But
18th century.
But the mark is just from the 16th century because my ancestors are going back to 1555.
1555. Now I wish I knew more about my family history. But for now I say goodbye to the beautiful Batavia and I continue my way to the next destination, Schokland.
This here was the seabed, nowadays the polder. But if I would walk up here, up the dike, I would reach a former island in the Zuiderzee, which is called Schokland. Let's have a look. Did you know that this place is listed on the World Heritage List? Well, now you do. And it's not only because it's a former island here in the Zuiderzee, but it's also because they found some interesting things of the past. We're talking about 10,000 years ago. They found remainings like pottery and tools from that period. That's crazy, isn't it? And what's also interesting is that some huge stones are scattered here around. And that is interesting because how did they get here?
That journey begins about 200,000 years ago. Large and small boulders have been left behind in the northeast polder by the glaciers of the penultimate ice age. You can see them in the rock garden, and there's also a visitor center on the former island. Discover here the ancient stories of Schokland and relax in a unique UNESCO World Heritage area.
So I arrived in Urk, a very interesting town because of its beautiful harbour, picturesque centre. But what makes it so special? If you look on historic maps, two things become clear. The first thing is that it was a former island. It was previously surrounded by the Zuiderzee and you could still see it on old maps. And the second thing is that the name was written completely different. It was written as Orc, not like the orcs of Lord of the Rings of course, but it was probably related to the biggest dolphin in the world, the orca, like the one you can see behind me.
The harbour of Urk is beautiful and it looks like the shipyard is still in operation here. Freshly smoked salmon is prepared by a fire. Unfortunately, the salmon was already sold out on arrival, but I didn't come for nothing. I think the most beautiful boats in the harbour are the flat bottoms or botters, and there is a beautiful example in front of the salmon smokehouse. I wouldn't pass up a chance to board such a fantastic ship.
Ik ben Ger.
Leuk je te ontmoeten hier op de boot, op de botter.
Hartstikke goed.
Kun je iets vertellen over een botter? Wat is het eigenlijk voor een boot?
Botters, dat zijn houten visserschepen die op de Zuiderzee altijd gevist hebben. Er zijn er een paar duizend van geweest. En het is zo dus dat er daar nog een stuk of 60 van over zijn, van die botters. En dit is de UK12. We hebben met dit schip vroeger wel gevist. Maar de laatste jaren dus niet meer, want het wordt steeds lastiger met vergunningen en dat soort dingen. Ja. Wat we wel doen is zeilen met het schip. Bemanning raakt steeds beter op elkaar ingespeeld. En in de wedstrijden zitten we toch bij de eerste 10, 15 zitten we inmiddels.
We doen wedstrijden met deze boot?
We doen wedstrijden en dat is in het kader van verhuur en dat soort dingen.
Ja. Hebben jullie al wel eens gewonnen?
Nee, winnen met dit schip hebben we nog niet gedaan. Dan moet je echt een stuk ervaring hebben en dan moet het schip ook zich een beetje naar voegen.
Ja, dankjewel. Leuk dat je even kon spreken zo toevallig vandaag.
Ja, zo is dat.
Op deze mooie dag.
Oké.
Je weet tot ziens.
Tot kijk eens.
Urk itself is more than just a harbour. With its picturesque streets and alleys, it's also a really nice town to walk through. The skyline is dominated by old churches and a beautiful lighthouse. From there you have a great view over the sea and the beaches, and in the distance you'll see an impressive row of windmills. I will say goodbye to the beautiful fishing town of Urk and the province of Flevoland. I had a fantastic time here, but I'm going to finish my vlog here. If you liked this video about Flevoland, please give it a thumbs up. And of course, consider subscribing to my channel if you like to see more interesting places in the future. Have a nice day. See you. Bye bye.